Use the, call to order the February 4th, 2016 meeting of the Blount County Board of Zoning Appeals. To start with, Roger, would you call the roll, please?
Larry Chesney.
Here.
Bruce Damrow. Stan Hedrick. Here. Brian King. Here.
One more.
And Joe's here filling in tonight for Rob has vacated his position, so.
Okay. The first item on the agenda is to review the minutes for the last meeting minutes, which was on January the 7th. Any corrections you want to make to the meeting minutes? Do I hear a motion to accept them? Brian, do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Brian
Okay.
and Joe.
Start with the first variance.
Okay.
This variance is a request for front setback variance requirements at the property identified on tax map 56, parcel 164. The property is zoned commercial and the required setback is 30 feet. This is at the corner of William Blount Drive and Big Springs Road. This parcel has road right-of-ways on 3 sides. The roads are William Blount Drive, Big Springs Road, and a small Matthews Road behind it. The request is for 10 feet variance along the Matthews Road right-of-way. This road is a small dead-end road that serves 6 residents. The proposed structure does meet all the other setback requirements. The applicant is making this request in order to fit the proposed structure, parking, and drainage structures on the parcel. Blount County Planning Commission has approved the site based on the condition that a variance is approved by the BZA. And this, the site plan was for a Dollar General store.
Is there anyone here that's in favor of this request? Give us your name, please.
Will Robinson, 130.
Will Robinson?
Will Robinson, 131 Brentwood Drive, Oak Ridge, Tennessee. I'm the civil engineer on this project, and our hardship in this case is the fact that we've got 3 front yards on the property. And it's kind of an unusual situation. Usually you got a front, a side, and a rear, or 2 sides and a rear. We've got roads on 3 sides of the property and then just 1 side yard. So it really restricts what you can do with the property.
Okay.
And the owner's representative's here if anybody else got, if there's questions appropriate to him.
Okay. Any questions for him while he's here? Anything else you want to share with us?
We're here.
Okay, we have a packet from him and a layout of the site. Anyone else in favor of this request that would like to speak? Anyone here that's opposed to this request? Based on that, open it up to the floor for the members for discussion. Questions?
The site plan did show some buffers. There's a residence on the lower, I guess that's the southern property line there. And their landscape plan does show buffering between them and the residential use. But there's no buffers required between a commercial use and any road right-of-way.
Under normal conditions, what about if you get a variance, could you get a buffer?
I believe the board could make that requirement.
On the Matthews side, I'm sorry. On the Matthews side, is it just a blank wall?
Yes, sir.
And there's how many houses down on Matthews Road? 6?
There's 6.
Is that includes I think there are condos down there that are down past on the right. And then there's maybe 1 or 2 houses on the left.
Yeah, and the ones on the right are, they're residential properties, but they're zoned commercial as well, but that's just the way the zoning map was drawn up when they created it.
You almost can't see the houses from this site, though. I mean, if you're standing up here, you look down Matthews and the houses are down a ways.
Is Matthew Road the only way in this town?
Yes.
Nobody's complaining?
I haven't heard anything.
Any other discussion? Do I hear a motion? Motion to accept by Brian. Do I hear a second? If I don't receive a second, Roger, what do I do?
That motion would fail.
Stanley makes a second. So a yes vote is to approve the request.
Correct. Let me get Joe down here. All right. Larry Chesney,
Yes.
Stan Hedrick, Brian King,
Yes.
Joe Everett.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Motion's,
Thank you,
the
gentlemen.
request is approved, okay? All right, the second one is the one at Peacock Ridge.
Let me get situated here. This request is at 843 Peacock Ridge Road. The variance request is from the front setback requirements. Parcels identified on tax map 95 LB Group F, parcel 28, and is zoned R1. The required setback in this development is 5 feet. The applicant has placed a camper on the property that comes to about 4.5 feet from the side property line, and that's just one end of the camper that gets that close. The rest of it, you know, after the property line tapers away from it as it goes along. He wants to be able to leave this camper unit there and actually wants to build a little structure on it, so it's not going to be one that he's going to be moving in and out seasonally. He wants to be able to leave it at this location, and there was difficulty getting the unit any further over because of the layout of the lot and the location of the large tree there in the front, and that's just as far as getting it parked on the lot. And the required setback's 5 feet, and of course he's requesting, I figured we'd just make it at least a foot.
So he's requesting a 1 foot variance of a 5 foot
Yeah,
setback.
so instead of 5, he'd have 4
4.
feet. Yeah.
Anyone here in favor of this request? Give us your name, please.
Charles Head,
Charles Head.
yes. Where we bought the trailer and they brought it up there, they tried for about 2 hours to get it over the 5 foot, but there's a big oak tree and a flower bed around. He just couldn't get the other front end over another foot. And before we tried to have something built onto it, we wanted to make sure that it was legal in, getting the variance or whatever before we do anything. But that's as far over as they could get it.
Okay. Anyone else in favor of this request? Anyone opposed to this request? Okay, questions from the board members? Discussion.
How does the POA with Big Valley fund? What does the Property Owners Association of Big Valley?
They don't have anything to do with this variance. One of the board members was there when we were having the trailer put in there, and he said that's as far over as you can get it, when the guy had worked that long trying to get it over further.
In the past, when we go to Big Valley, and of course, a lot of them got big areas, we got
I think sometimes standing in the past, we said, well, we're not opposed to it if the POA isn't opposed to it. Yeah, and if the POA there wasn't opposed to it, we were okay with it.
if they wasn't opposed to it.
Charles, I have a couple of questions. As you look at your drawing, the setback, is that with your pullouts in or out?
Is it what?
The trailer's sitting there and it has pullouts.
Yes.
This 5 feet that you're saying that you're gonna be within 4 feet, is that with those pullouts out, or is it with the pullouts in?
With from what I've been told, it only where it goes vertically up counts. Pullouts can be pulled back in if they need
Okay, so
to get through there.
so it's what's permanent with the pullouts in. So actually, when you pull the
Yes.
pullouts out, you could be within 2 feet.
Yes.
Okay, on this drawing here, explain to us what you're putting and where. I didn't understand.
On the other side of the trailer is where we want it to build something, but I want to make sure the trailer is set. There's a big stump to the right of the trailer frame and a big oak tree, another big
Yes,
tree, and
Yeah.
the neighbor's porch comes plumb out to the line
Yeah.
on the property, well, really over the line, yes, at the back. And it drops off a bank on the other side of it, so it's like a piece of pie. This line is
Right.
this way, and then another line there, and the widest part is out near the road. We have
Right.
to stay 15 foot back from the road. That tree kept them from being able to get the front end of the trailer over as far as it needed to be, 5 foot.
so you're gonna put a porch there or something?
porch with a little room
Screen
on it.
room or something, yeah.
Okay. Sunroom.
Sunroom.
Is this a new park lot or new?
It's 2 year, we bought it last year.
So when the Big Valley Homeowners Association representative was there as a representative, just happened to be
He
there?
was a board member that just happened to be there.
What were his thoughts? What did he say to you?
He said that's far as we could get it over.
So he thinks he believed that he was good with it, whatever you had, what you had?
As long as the trailer's sitting there without anything built, it's good where it's at, and we were just wanting to make sure that if I could get this foot, it would be permanently left there.
What's the chances that tree being removed, that stump or whatever that's been?
It belongs to the POA, I ain't got no control over it.
Belongs to the, you can't
The
cut.
15 foot from the road, no sir, within the 15 foot, you're not allowed to do anything to it.
It's a big,
They
tree.
can,
It's a
but we
big
can't.
tree.
It's in the right of way, actually.
It's on the, yes.
It took them 2.5 hours to get that trailer back in there.
Well, if you pushed it back in there any farther, it wouldn't help, you know, because you've been,
It gets too close to the other property line and goes off the bank.
so you got some room in the front.
Yeah, I don't think he can go any further back. All right. Any other questions or discussion?
So we don't know what the setback for the Big Valley campground thing is itself?
Well, the Big Valleys homeowners associations is the reason we've got the setbacks we do in these type developments now. They were very active in us when we redid the zoning regulations to make setbacks that fit and were applicable to these types of developments. There's just a few of them in the county. So they helped us establish our setbacks in there. Does that answer your question?
If we approve this, would we be overriding their setbacks?
No, you can't override anything that's,
No, we just don't want to get in conflict with
no, but we can't enforce the rules either.
But he's asking, are we overstepping our bounds relative to the POA there?
No, because you're not granting any variances to their requirements. You're granting variances to our requirements.
So we could approve this, and then they could come back and say no.
Yeah, I have no idea. I guess they could,
If-
if they've got something that
If they wanted-
regulates it,
If they
yeah.
wanted to.
Well, I have no idea. I can't answer that. But if they had something that was in conflict, that's a possibility.
Did you receive any opposition to this? You have a sign up there.
I've not had any phone calls on this
So if
one.
the POA has any objection to this, they could have said so.
Yeah,
I mean, this sign's been up there for weeks,
yeah, it was posted.
and it's clear right in front of the property. So if anybody up there had an objection to this, they could have said so.
Is this, I would ask, is this consistent with the existing conditions in there since the, our zoning rules went into effect in Big Valley?
Most of those lots, usually when people try to do stuff on them, require some kind of a variance.
If you enforce,
This one's actually a little bit more tricky than most because it is a triangle
Okay.
and not just the rectangle.
But this wouldn't be a precedent-setting move on our part.
No, it would be consistent with actions we've done before.
and most of those lots are like parallelograms. If you enforced it 5 feet in that place, you'd have bunches to talk
There's-
about.
There's nothing down through there except our sewer line runs from down off the hill to the main line. There's nothing else, you know, no utilities running through there. The water comes from the road in front. So there's nothing, you know, other than my utilities on that lot.
Looks like somebody been putting in a lot of water lines up through there, the road up through there, got ditches everywhere.
They're replacing all the water lines.
Is that what they're doing?
Yes.
It looks like it's a mess. Okay, any other comments? Questions? Do I hear a motion? Stanley, motion approved. Second?
Second.
Joe, second? Okay, Roger?
Larry Chesney?
Yes.
Stan Hedrick? Brian King?
Yes.
Joe Everett?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, the next item is, your request is approved, Charles. Okay, the next one is on Ivy Vine Drive.
This request is from the front setback requirements at
They're
521.
really excited for us, everybody up there, that we're getting to build up.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. At 521 Ivy Vine Drive, the property is identified on tax map 67L, Group A, Parcel 3, and is Zone C, Commercial. The required setback at this location is 40 feet, and the request is for a 25 feet setback. This property is located between two right-of-ways, which establishes two front property lines. The road that is used to access the property is Ivy Vine Drive, which has a 25 feet front setback. Dotson Memorial Road is to the rear of the property and does not provide access to the parcel. The right-of-way along Dotson Memorial gets wider as it approaches William Blount Drive and is actually part of the state's right-of-way for William Blount Drive. This is why the setback is 40 feet that was established on the plat. William Blount Drive is a minor arterial road that requires the 40 feet. The normal setback for Dotson Memorial Road would be 30 feet. The requested setback of 25 feet is to allow the owner to construct their home and to allow room for, in the front, to pull their RV. The front setback on Ivy Vine Drive was established when this development was approved as a planned unit development. Holding the house up to the 25 feet front setback along Ivy Vine Drive would not allow room that they need to, pull their RV out. And I did include the photos there. But they're not going to park their RV out there. They've got, actually, one in the house is going to have a garage that will house the RV. But what they do want to do is be able to pull it out and wash it without it having to hang over into the right-of-way. just when they're prepping it to go camping or,
But they're gonna pull it out toward Ivy,
correct.
but they're not requesting a variance in the front setback. The variance they're requesting is back here on Dotson.
Yeah, but
This
that's
one right here.
considered a front, yeah.
So they're asking for a 25-foot setback, and Dotson, it should have been 30, so they're asking for a 5 feet variance.
Well, it shows up on the plat as 40 because Dotson Memorial, that part of Dotson Memorial Road, I guess is state's right of way.
But
If you can see, look at this picture, you can see the,
45?
it's the second one. As you turn up Ivy Drive,
It's a second.
it's the second one.
And this Dotson kind of comes behind it, but you can't you no access off of it. This is kind of back
But,
there.
you know, when the state does a road, they'll usually grab additional right of way from tributary roads.
Yeah.
Um,
But right here's what is the issue.
Yes.
Not-
Well, that's part of the issue. You know, even if it was just a regular 30 feet from Dotson, they would still need 5 feet.
Okay, so let's clarify. They're asking, if we didn't give them anything, what would their setback be off of here?
40 feet, it's on the plat.
And then they're asking for it to be 25.
Correct.
So they're asking for a 15-foot variance.
Correct.
On a road that is not, that doesn't access their property.
Correct.
It just happens to be behind them.
Correct.
Okay. I'm sorry, folks. Anyone here in favor of this? Okay. Come forward and give us your name.
Daniel McDonald?
Daniel McDonald?
Yes, sir.
Now, did you say you access this on Ivy Log, Ivy Vine?
Ivy Vine Drive. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, Daniel, anything you want to add to, we had a discussion up here so we could understand it.
Yes, sir.
But go ahead, anything you want to share with us?
What it is the 40-foot setback, the back side of their garage. The lot goes at a, I guess at a, it is a large lot, but that 40-foot setback on the back just kills the, you know, it doesn't make enough room for the width of the garage on the back side of the house.
So as you face the house, the garage is on the left, as you face the house?
On the right.
Okay, all right.
From Ivy Vine?
Yes, sir.
Anything else you want to add?
I think that's
Are you the owner, the builder, or what?
I'm the owner and builder.
You own the property and you're building the house?
Yes, sir. Yes.
You gonna live there? You
No,
gonna sell
sir. No, sir. The people are from Ohio that's wanting that house there.
You're building that for them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone here in opposed, anything else you want to add?
I think that's,
Okay. Anyone here in opposed to this request? Okay, we'll open it up to the board for questions.
Wonder why the right-of-ways are so wide there.
I don't know the answer to that question, Stan, but it's common if you look up and down 321 or 411 or other state roads, they will capture, on those roads coming into them, they will capture additional, that may be for drainage structures or maybe a future turn. I'm not sure the answer to that.
I understand 40 feet on William Blount Drive. I don't understand 40 feet on Dotson Memorial. I mean, that's a small road, relative.
and what it was, the reason I even knew it is I went here and got a plat, and then I seen that it showed the 40 foot
Yeah.
after we'd already purchased it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. So that was my fault.
Actually, if you've met all the setbacks, you'd have a hard time putting a house on that lot.
Yes, sir.
How, I got a question.
Sure.
As far as our action and it would affect you, if we grant a variance on this state setback, what position does that put he and the future owner of this property in if the state ever came to do anything with that, intersection there?
Well, the state didn't establish the setback, they just established the right of way. If it hadn't been put on the plat and I was making the setbacks on it, I would say it would be a 30-foot setback. But the Maryville Planning Commission did the plat approval for this, and they actually put the 40-foot setback on the plat.
Okay.
So really, the plat requires a greater setback than what I would interpret would be required for this one.
I'm just trying to think of, everyone's responsibility if, I don't want to make him think that he's in a situation where there might not be a risk involved in the future, and I just want to clarify that.
That's a valid question because of what happened in Townsend. They went up through there and told all those folks to move all their stuff because the state had a right of way.
Well, yeah, but they were actually on the right of way. They would have been across this line over here. This one's still going to be 25 feet inside their own property if you grant it.
Ah, that's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
They were on over that line.
Correct.
Okay.
Over here.
Right here. Here's William Blount. You drive in through here and turn right. It's
Yeah, so he's
He's-
referring to this line.
He's
Is that right?
25 feet inside his own property.
Okay, so this is actually the state's right of way?
Right.
Line, okay.
Right. Yeah. This is small, but this right here is a small road.
I know.
Yes.
I did.
Oh, did you? Okay. I was just making
I
sure.
thought that's what they were.
Yeah, I did too.
Just to reconfirm, anyone here in opposition to this request? Anyone here in opposition to this request?
I live on Ivy Vine Drive, and I know it's staked out over there.
Yes.
I just was not sure about what is going on. If you'd like to fill me in, I'm listening.
It's basically the back property line. It's from where normally you have a 25 or 30-foot setback in the back, and we're going to be over that setback because the garage is larger than most garages.
I live in the last unit.
Let us show you what he's doing.
Fill me in here, Ron.
Yes, sir.
How big a house you build?
I'm building one there in Ashwood Park now.
How big is it?
How many square feet?
1,800 square feet.
And then you're building a shed big enough to put a motor home?
Well, then it's got a garage, the RV garage is like 800 and something square feet garage.
Whoa.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did, thank you.
Okay, are you okay? You understood? Okay,
And I've got her name for the record. I know, I've known her for many years.
okay. Well, we won't hold that against her.
It is I mean, it's a beautiful house. I mean, it's very, very nice. No, it's a one-story, just,
Because that's right out my window.
yeah.
I won't shoot you now.
I mean, it's gonna be a beautiful house if we get to do it.
And you're building a garage where they park their RV inside.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Go ahead.
The way that it's situated on the lot, what condition does it create if the house is moved closer to Ivy Vine?
The actual RV is like 40, I'm thinking they said 42 foot, and it's getting the RV in the garage
you're saying that it would, if it were outside the garage, it would be hanging out in the street?
If we don't get the, yes, sir. Yes.
What they're saying is if he pulls it out to wash it,
Yeah.
he can't get it out of the garage without it overhanging the road. So that's why they're pushing it back there. Any other discussion? Questions? Do I hear a motion?
Roger, one more time. This will not place this gentleman or a future owner of this property in any kind of position where they'll be at risk of, from the state in future development as far as this action.
Not that I could see,
Okay.
because the state's got the right of way up to the property line, but they don't have a right to come across
Okay.
onto their property. Now, they could always go out there and like maybe redo the drainage or something, and they could come right up to the property line, so they may have to deal with whatever kind of,
But that's gonna be 25 feet away from the house.
correct,
So we're not putting them in an at-risk situation by allowing it.
not that I could see.
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second? Brian seconds.
Larry Chesney?
Yes.
Stan Hedrick? Brian King? Joe Everett?
Yes.
Your request is approved. Okay. Anything else for tonight, gentlemen? Brian, anything else for tonight? Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Okay. All right,
All approved?
here we go.
All right.